Happy Taco Tuesday, and on Taco Tuesday we talk about new movies. And today's new movie that we're going to be talking about, I'm a little late on this one. I'm going to be talking about Matrix Resurrections, as I like to call it, Matrix 4. And I'll just start off this review by saying I had very little expectations of this movie. However, I thought about it, I was like, you know what, maybe since the last one wasn't so good, that being Matrix 3, I was like, maybe this is the chance to recorrect some mistakes that they made in the previous film. So I had a little hope of this movie just because Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss were actually signing on to make the movie as well. However, I was a little concerned because certain other key characters were not involved in the movie. The character of Morpheus was recasted, and the character of Mr. Smith was also recasted. These are some big shoes to fill, so I was hoping the recasting was made for a good reason, and hopefully the director knew what they were doing. I was initially wanting to see this in the theater, however, before I went to go see it, a friend of mine had just got out of the theater and said, see it on HBO Max for free. And so I did. So my initial reaction after watching this movie, I was just like,
what the hell is that?
I'm not gonna lie, they do give a good reason why there is a Matrix 4, how there is a Matrix 4, and how Neo is brought back. They do give a good explanation of all of that, so I was pretty happy with that. However, the movie is constantly relying on clips, actual movie clips from the original movie, and it is constantly reminding you that this film, Matrix Resurrections, is also following the exact same outline as The Matrix. And all this does make sense on paper, don't get me wrong, but when I was watching it, I was like, they're heavy relying and constantly showing you, hey, remember this scene in the first Matrix? We're going to see it again, and we're going to redo the exact same scene. And I was even like, I've seen references to things like this on The Simpsons, and I was like, this is really funny. I was like, did The Simpsons predict this movie as well? And in this film, we do have a new crew, and however, like I was just saying like a second ago, they're constantly reminding you that there's things going on similar to the first movie. And in the first film, you had a great cast of characters, also characters that were very memorable. In this film, everybody was forgettable. There are moments with the new Morpheus where I was like, I'm not buying that he's Morpheus at all in this movie. I know he's supposed to be kind of like a replicant of Morpheus, but I just wasn't feeling it. And the film does pay homage to Lawrence Fishburne at some point, but I was almost thinking like, this movie could have carried on if the character was dead and just paid the homage to him. Oftentimes in this movie, the character of Morpheus would disappear for a while and then reappear later. And there were moments in the film where when he did reappear, I was kind of like, oh, he's back. Okay, whatever. And like I was saying, same thing would happen with the character of Mr. Smith. He would be there, and like I said, he wasn't very memorable when he was there. Then he would disappear for the rest of the movie, then pop up back in the end of the movie. Keanu Reeves has been doing martial arts in movies for quite some time now. We've seen it in the John Wick films. He likes to do his own stunts. And in this film, I was like, what is going on? This fight scene between, I will call them hobo ninjas. In fact, I've seen better choreography lately in the Cobra Kai show on Netflix. And speaking of this movie reminding you of other movies, there is a moment in this movie where the machines are kind of helping out with the humans in this film. And one of the machines kind of reminded me of something I would see in the film The Abyss, which was directed by James Cameron. And I almost thought to myself, I was like, you know, that guy has experience with films similar to this. And I was like, the man has even jumped on another franchise and made an awesome sequel with Aliens. I was almost like, if he was only 20 years younger, I was almost thinking to myself, he would be probably a great addition to take on this franchise. I mean, I did understand everything that they were going for. Oftentimes in this movie, it kind of reminded me of Nightmare on Elm Street. Wes Craven's New Nightmare, because like I was saying, this movie is very self-aware of what it is, and it does break the fourth wall. So it definitely reminded me of Wes Craven's New Nightmare throughout the film. Also, this film also reminded me of Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, because the first half of that film is basically a recapping of the previous film. I'm going to give Matrix Resurrections, aka Matrix 4, a D. If you have HBO Max, I would say see it at home. And like I said, this movie is constantly reminding you how good the first film is. So I would also suggest watching the first one all over again, because the first film has so much meat on that bones, and also great fight scenes and great special effects and great characters. And that's exactly what this film did not have. So hopefully I wasn't too harsh. I hope I didn't give anything away. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. I'm Mike the Movie Misfit, and I'll see you at the movies.
Get more out of life. Go out to a movie.